what's up everybody? Welcome to Diplomat Dad. Today is the first week of the weekly quotes. I've kind of decided basically to restart my channel and get on track with the things I've been wanting to speak about, things that I've been wanting to address, and basically brought us to this point. So again, I'm just kind of revamping the page, really just bringing my vision into fruition. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is a weekly quote, and they're quotes by all sorts of people, but other than just the quote, I want to break them down, at least how I take that quote in, how I process it, how I relate to it, the different things that or the different circumstances throughout my life that I've been able to take that quote or a quote similar to it and apply it and be able to see just like how beneficial it is. Like there's so much value in the words we speak, and all it takes sometimes is one sentence or one point that somebody makes that can literally be life-changing. I've heard quotes that I don't even think about it maybe once in a blue moon, but when it crosses my mind in the circumstance, I'm like, oh wow, like remember this quote. Or maybe it's one of those things where something somebody said to me that sticks with me every day. So yeah, I love quotes. I love talking, speaking. It's the most precious thing that I think we have as human beings, is the ability to speak to one another and take our thoughts, turn them into sound, and from sound back into thoughts, and analyze those thoughts and go back and forth. I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. So, let me go ahead and break down this quote, and let me tell you what the quote is first. The quote is by Seneca. I don't know if it's Seneca, the dad, the son, the which Seneca it is. I could do more research on it, but honestly, like, that's not important to me. I do my due diligence and my research where necessary, but what's important here is the quote. So this was written by Seneca, or spoken by Seneca, and it goes like this. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those you are capable of improving. The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. Now that couldn't be farther from the truth. But let's break that down into parts. So the first part of that quote was, associate with people who are likely to improve you. I think that's huge, and I think one of the things we hear a lot that we associate with or relate to is that saying that goes something along the lines of, you are who you spend the most of your time with, or the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Like that's a good definition of who you are, and I don't disagree with that. I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially when you're realistically just unconsciously living your life in just kind of an autopilot. Then even more so, it's much more the case that you are a very good reflection of the people that you surround yourself with. And even when on a more conscious level, it's still the same, but it's more detrimental to you when you step back and look at the people that you're surrounded with, when you haven't been making a conscious effort to analyze your circle. So some of the things that I like to talk about, or some of the things that I think about when I hear that, is to surround yourself with people that can improve you. And at the end of the day, a lot of times we think we're doing just that, surrounding ourselves with people that we think add value to our lives, our friends, the guys we grew up with. Maybe it's your girlfriend, wife, husband, brother, sister, aunt, mom, brother. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we assume that because people fall into a certain role in our lives, that because of that they automatically fall into the category of somebody who wants the best for me. And fucking hell, that's just not the case. Like, you've got to really evaluate what it is that the people in your circle are bringing to the table, because I'm telling you right now, if you're giving people credit that you think is due simply because of the title they carry, you've got to reevaluate your entire vetting process of who you let into your life and the doors that you open for other people. And it's crazy how we get stuck in this mindset of well, this guy's a family member, so like I need to keep this guy in my circle, or this is my spouse, so they must be right, or I must do this because of, you know, the fact that they're my spouse. Like, sometimes the worst person in your life is your mother, or your brother, or your wife, or realistically, like, the people who you think are adding value to your life could very much so be the exact people who are holding you back, and you don't even realize it. But we'll get into that. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But evaluate the people that you bring into your life, because they are, for the most part, a good reflection of who you are, or at least they're good indicators of the principles that you value. Yeah, so just keep that in mind, and let's break down the second part of this. So, next part is, welcome those you are capable of improving. So when I hear that, I think it's really important to consider the fact that, well, let me backtrack a little bit. So back to that saying of you are who you surround yourself with the most, or the five people you surround yourself with the most. They're good indicators of who you are. Again, like, I think there's a lot of truth to that, but I think a lot of times, especially in the ego, from the ego standpoint, we try to be in that position where those five people, if you will, that we bring into our circle, where those are the only five that we try to surround ourselves with, and we don't give the time of day to people not in our circles, whether it's for you just don't have the time of day, or you think you're superior, or you think they're inferior to whatever extent, simply because maybe you've had a shift of consciousness, or you've reevaluated your critical thinking, you know, framework that you operate with, and that's led you to believe that the only way to become better, or to continue this progression or evolution of the mind and self, is to basically eradicate all the shit from your life, or the shit people in your life, and only focus on the good. Well, I think right there, I think you have a moral and ethical obligation to, for one, take that whole idea and fucking throw it out the window, and secondly, like, you got to think about the moment that you decide that I'm going to make sure that the people that are within my circle are people that are going to bring value to me, and just that, you take away from the opportunity to allow you or yourself to be one of those five people that somebody else needs in their circle. And it took me a while to figure this out, you know, but I hold the same amount of value to being me as an individual, and having those five individuals in my group, or those five main mentors that I address most of my energy towards, and try to just, you know, siphon, you know, everything they've learned in their lives, and try to, you know, take it for what it is, and apply it to my own. I hold that to the same value as the circle of friends where maybe they're not part of the five people that add the amount of influence in my life that is allowing me to progress in maybe a socio-economical standpoint, but more of a psychological standpoint, in the sense that in order for me to operate on one side of the world, or one side of the spectrum and the other, like, literally, you're only good at one side of the spectrum when you're good at the other. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And there's so much to gain and give on both sides that I really believe you have to get rid of that whole idea of making sure that you're surrounding yourself with those five people, as opposed to remembering that, you know what, the best thing that you might be able to do today for this person is be one of those five people that they need in their circle right now. And you got to make time for that. You know, it's really that simple, you know. So that's kind of how I feel about that part. Let's break down the rest of this quote and see where that leads us. Alright. The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. Again, you know, like I said, I add the same value to both sides of that. You know, sometimes I don't mind being the... And let me go back in it. I hate to say things like I don't mind, because to say I don't mind kind of indicates that maybe I might, and you might have been, or maybe I might have insinuated that I would mind had I not voiced that. But I don't like to say that because I think that takes away from the value, and it kind of creates an unrealistic and unnecessary juxtaposition between the opposite sides of the spectrum. So it is a mutual thing. Like, the process is mutual. It is a constant effort combined with a constant openness to learning. Anytime where I'm asking a question, I'm inquiring about something, and I'm asking somebody for their knowledge or their insight, I can feel and I can understand the fact that every time that I ask a person something and they're addressing me and they're bringing to light what I'm curious about, you know, they're somewhere along the realm of really good at delivering whatever it is that I'm asking for, or they don't have the ability, or they haven't developed the ability to take what I see in them through their actions and just through a sense of, you know, osmosis and just absorbing how this person interacts with the world around them. Like, they might not realize, or they very well and usually do realize and recognize how they're coming across, but a lot of times they're not able to articulate just how they're doing that. And me asking this person for their insight just might be the conversation that we end up having that teaches them to take the information that I want and deliver it to me the way that I need it delivered. And, you know, so for them that's a learning process, and that goes, you know, again, the other way. I'm gaining information at the same time this person is transferring that information, but also recalibrating their delivery, constant analysis of how they think, what they're saying, what led them to saying this, and, you know, just through the process of teaching. Like, we learn so much about ourselves, why we think the way that we think. You know, so it's certainly mutual. I figured that out a lot later in my life, but it certainly is one of those things where, man, you can't help but accept the fact that there's the same amount of value in teaching something as there is asking a question, and it just goes full circle. There's so much to it. There's so much energy just flowing around the room and being transferred, and thought processes being dug into deeper than ever before, you know. So, but that's pretty much you know, the quote. Again, I thought it was probably a pretty good one, something that kind of touched home with me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of my first weekly quote. I put a lot of value into these things, and I want to share this with you guys. I can't count how many times in my life somebody, again, you know, told me something, showed me something, and I've just been like, where have you been? But yeah, so thank you again for watching, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, by all means, leave a comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button. That'll let you guys know when I got a new video coming out. I'm going to do the quotes weekly. I've got all sorts of other shit coming on. But basically, I want to keep this flowing. I want to get this momentum built. I want to take what I've got inside of my head and hopefully put it into your ears and into your brain. Yeah, that's the whole intent here, is basically elaborate on the value that's been added to my life by the people who have taken the time to add themselves to mine. And I just want to do that for you and for me, again, because this is mutual. Every time I start speaking, you know, I'm somewhere along the realm of, oh yeah, I got this figured out, I can tell you exactly how you need to hear this, or I'm like, I see what you're asking, let me analyze my thoughts a little bit and get back to you. You know, I'm always somewhere along that spectrum, and a lot of the times I don't realize what I don't know until you realize you don't know it. And that's the case for everybody, you know. So someone asks me a question and I'm on board, whether I have the answer or not. Like, fucking ask me questions, like, get my wheels turning, afford me the opportunity to provide myself with some personal growth, and you as well. So again, thanks again for watching, and until next time, you guys, catch you out there.